So guys, the United Kingdom has come out to condemn INEC, their action during the election. They are here to confirm that INEC made a very serious mistake, that they didn't communicate to the Nigerian people on the glitch they claim to have had during the election. We all know that the INEC chairman came out and told Nigerians that they had some glitches. And up to today, we don't even know what those glitches were. They refused to explain to the Nigerian people the exact challenges they experienced on the day of the election. And today, the United Kingdom is coming out boldly to say INEC made a very big mistake for not communicating to the Nigerian people on the day of the election that actually they were having some issues, so that people will be aware. Don't forget that up to today, INEC has still not come out to tell the Nigerian people what those glitches were. Just take a look at this.
Into the system, and I think one of the problems was that INEC didn't communicate quickly enough what the challenges were, and we spoke to the INEC chair about this, and he accepted that point, that they should have been able to communicate soon, but it was a failure, and I think it's been a big setback to INEC's credibility, frankly, and therefore people's confidence.
Also, this British envoy to Nigeria has confirmed that measures have been put in place to punish all those who tried to disrupt the 2023 presidential election. Listen to her speak.
We're watching closely, along with other members of the international community, and those who incite violence or indeed act violently could be subject to a visa ban to our country, or we have other instruments, including our human rights legislation.
So guys, I think this is a right step in a right direction for those of them that depend on the UK and the United States, for their children to be educated, and for those of them that go out there to buy houses and make other investments. If they are banned from entering those countries, I think that would be a very big lesson for them to learn from. So guys, let me allow you watch this video in full. Just take your time and listen to what she has got to say. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.
Other sort of challenges and interesting times, of course, I started just before the 2019 election, and I finished after 2023. So I've seen some progress, a few setbacks, but overall what I would say, and this is one of my key sort of highlights from my time in Nigeria, Nigeria is the biggest, most important democracy in Africa, and for all its flaws and challenges, you are on that journey, and you should never take that for granted, because you're in a region where democracy is backsliding, and indeed globally. But Nigeria sends a bit of a beacon of hope, and I know a lot of people are disappointed with the process and with the outcome, but I would say hang on to that important fundamental that people in Nigeria, your vote does count. Look at the different electoral map. It looks completely different than it did in 2019. Democracy is a journey, it's not an event. We're watching closely, along with other members of the international community, and those who incite violence or indeed act violently could be subject to a visa ban to our country, or we have other instruments, including our human rights legislation. So I can confirm we're gathering information at the moment. We obviously don't speak about individuals, and we will consider whether we want to exercise those visa bans. So that is one of the tools. That's if you like, a negative tool, but the whole point of that is deterrence, to ensure that people reflect before they act in that way, because elections going well are so important for Nigeria. What didn't work well, and it was a big disappointment to all of us, and most importantly to Nigerians, was what INEC had raised expectations, that as the results were being tabled at the local polling unit, they would be automatically visible to all of us, actually, to be able to track the results in real time, so transparently. Clearly the system failed, and there's no question. That was a massive disappointment. It also meant that it created space for people to be concerned that somebody's interfering with the system, somebody's hacked into the system. And I think one of the problems was that INEC didn't communicate quickly enough what the challenges were. And we spoke to the INEC chair about this, and he accepted that point, that they should have been able to communicate soon. But it was a failure, and I think it's been a big setback to INEC's credibility, frankly, and therefore people's confidence.
So guys, I'm going to allow you watch this video. As the election tribunal hearing draws near, Nigerians are worried if our justice system is going to do justice to the petitions that have been filed against Bola Ahmed Tinubu and INEC as the electoral body. And also, don't forget, there have been calls for this hearing to be televised live so that everybody can have access to what will be happening in the courtroom. Just take a look at this.
There is an anxious wait by Nigerians to see the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal begin hearing and end on time its duties so as to provide a sense of closure to the matter after the keenly contested 2023 presidential election won by Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress (APC). 5 of the 17 political parties that took part in the elections want the tribunal to cancel Tinubu's victory for alleged reasons bordering on INEC's holding of elections that failed to comply with the Electoral Act and the non-eligibility of Tinubu and the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima to run, among other allegations.
25% Abuja debacle that has to do with Section 134 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has altered the issue of the Vice President-elect with regards to his nomination after there was a placeholder for him, and all the issues concerning the President-elect. Nigerians are waiting, and Nigerians on the different divides, both those who are for the winners, those who are for the different parties who participated in the election, everybody's waiting.
There are huge concerns that the tribunal proceedings may continue beyond the May 29 inauguration date, like it had previously. The harsh reality is that there are 180 days, that is 6 months, within which to hear petitions arising from elections, and there are those who are wondering why the Presidential Election Tribunal hearing has yet to commence. There is a narrative about hastening the tribunal proceedings to get things done quickly, despite the limitations of the tribunal.
So you find that the first 3 months are dedicated to preliminaries. Then the actual hearing and judgment has 3 months. INEC might say, I am taking a week to call my witnesses. The man that one says, I'm taking another week. The man that the party takes another one week. That has removed 1 month again.
There are also those canvassing that the tribunal should suspend the inauguration of the President-elect Bola Tinubu until the hearing and determination of petitions challenging the outcome of the elections, a move that has no precedence in Nigeria's Fourth Republic. But is an election tribunal empowered to do so?
When anybody tells you that a court can stop swearing in, when anybody tells you that it's not, even an ordinary Congress, a court can't stop a Congress. A court that stops a Congress, that judge should be dismissed because he exhibited ultimate illiteracy. There's no process, electoral process, that a court has power to stop.
Some legal experts say there is now the need for the National Assembly to perhaps consider amending the country's laws to make it mandatory for the election tribunal to complete hearing on all petitions before the inauguration of a president-elect, to avoid all the controversies about legitimacy as in the present instance.
I made the constitution to say within 1 month that an appeal goes, it must be decided, so that we finish with all petitions by April. If it is presidential, it is Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. And then gubernatorial petitions should not get to the Supreme Court. Just like Senate, House of Reps, they don't get to the Supreme Court. They are supposed to stop at the Appeal Court.
The President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday arrived in Nigeria after his post-election holiday in France. He is looking forward to the inauguration day, just as many others who are challenging his election victory are also eagerly waiting for the tribunal to hopefully do justice and treat all petitions.
So guys, in case you don't know, Senator Nnamani has called on Peter Obi to withdraw his petition against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Don't forget, Senator Nnamani is one of those politicians who never believed in Mr. Peter Obi. Neither did they ever supported him. And today he's calling on Peter Obi to withdraw his petition against Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the interest of the Southeast. And one keep wondering his reasons for this call. Don't forget he worked against the Labour Party and he is never in support of Peter Obi, and today he's asking Peter Obi to withdraw his petition against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Just listen to this video. A huge shout out to Ned Media for putting up this content. Take a look.
Senator Nnamani is the latest among many politicians that are mounting pressure on Peter Obi to withdraw his petition. Nnamani even added a condition that Peter Obi should not just withdraw but negotiate with Tinubu on behalf of the Southeast. This is no longer funny. Nigerians have passed this stage. The fact that your immediate neighbor in your community is a minister is not a guarantee that your community will be developed. You can ask people in Katsina how they are faring in security upon the fact that Buhari is from there. Even the many years Nnamani spent in the Senate, what impact and change did he bring to the district? So it's obvious what Nnamani's problem is. He should just focus on seeking his appointment. After all, he's no longer in the PDP. Besides, Peter Obi's votes came from around the country, not just Southeast. He's seeking to change Nigeria, not just the Southeast. A lot of derogatory comments have come from this man directed at Peter Obi of late. In fact, Nnamani doesn't deserve a response because it's obvious he has crossed the line of civility. But for record purposes, and especially politicians who claim that they control the masses, that they can tell people who to vote for, that they can deliver a state to a candidate, and all sorts of slogans that politicians use during elections to improve their political standing. Whoever Nnamani promised to deliver votes to should know that he couldn't even deliver himself. Someone who became a politician a few weeks before the election defeated and retired Senator Nnamani, who has represented Enugu East Senatorial District since 2007. The person is Kelvin Chukwu of Labour Party. Look at the margin. Although Nnamani congratulated him, he still seems to be harboring some grief. He can go to court if he feels he won, instead of talking in a way that is unbefitting of a senator. It's just one of the many laughable positions that our politicians take. They think they make sense, but in the end, they are just making fun of themselves. That's why this sham of an election must not stand, because it will take Nigeria back to Maurice Iwu era. And Nigerians won't be bothered to participate in future elections. Many people won't even come out to vote in future elections, and you wouldn't blame them because it will be obvious that their votes won't count. Now, let's see some laughable objections raised by Tinubu's legal team. Reading the objections raised by the different parties to Peter Obi and Labour Party's petition can make one angry because of how hard and blatant they are trying to defend illegality. But we still try to read them, and when we come across the ones that are too outrageous, we try to publish them, like this reply from Tinubu's legal team to Atiku's petition. Was this written by a lawyer or SAN for that matter? So they are basically arguing that the reason Atiku Abubakar lost the election was because he is a serial election loser, that he has consistently lost presidential elections both at the party primary stage and the elections proper. How about Buhari, who lost many times and later won? How can they seriously make this kind of argument? Their objections are mostly unserious. In what way are they planning to win in court? It seems these guys don't take the petition seriously. Do they know what we don't know? Because this was exactly how Tinubu didn't take the campaign seriously. He made a lot of gaffes and miscues. He even danced in some rallies without addressing the crowd. Why will a candidate in an election, after spending millions to hold a rally, come to the rally and tell the crowd that he just wants to dance? Anyway, the world is watching. Apart from the available evidence to prove that the presidential election was rigged in their favor, there's also circumstantial evidence that the judges can rely on. After all, they live in this country, they read newspapers, watch local TV news. They know what is happening, although they are not supposed to form their opinion from outside what is before them. But they're also humans. Bad governance affects everyone, irrespective of your status.
INEC officers, they finish election and they don't want to upload.
Now, let's see the huge mountain that INEC needs to climb in order to prove that the election wasn't rigged. Even if they're able to climb this mountain, it's still a mission impossible. Let's even accept that conducting an election in Nigeria is difficult, but is following laws and guidelines difficult too? There are countries that are largely bigger than Nigeria in size and population. They still end up conducting acceptable, free and fair elections. Why is our own different? INEC is telling the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal that they followed the Electoral Act 2022 and no law was breached. Did they really follow the law? Let's look at how the election was supposed to be conducted according to the Electoral Act. Because of high incidents of rigging and manipulations in past elections, the new Electoral Act introduced BVAS, an electronic transmission of results. Based on that, INEC set up a server and a portal to access the server, which is called the IREV.
Presidential. This is the presidential result. I mean, the snap with me, snappers 0116.
After counting of votes, just like in this polling unit, the polling officer will enter the results in a polling unit form called Form EC8A. Just like this one, all polling agents of different parties must sign the results, including the polling officer. Of course, he will also stamp it. Then he will capture this form with a camera on the BVAS machine. After that, he will proceed to upload it immediately to the INEC servers. Anyone can immediately access the IREV portal and locate the particular polling unit to see what the polling officer uploaded. So immediately that is done, it's like a safeguard. It's like keeping a copy of the polling unit's result sheet. Now remember that this is a polling unit. The polling officer will still need to take the result sheet and the BVAS machine to the ward collation center, where the ward collation officer must still verify all Form EC8A results from polling units under the ward. He will verify them through the IREV portal before entering the results in the Form EC8B, which is for the ward collation. This is to ensure that no manipulation or changing of results happened on the way to the ward collation center. Without a copy saved on INEC servers, it wouldn't be possible to quickly authenticate the results coming from the polling units. This same verification and authentication happens at the local government collation center. All results from wards are sent to the local government collation center, where they will enter the results after verification on another form called EC8C. The same thing happens at the state level. They verify all results submitted from the local government collation centers before entering them on another form, EC8D. The whole process is backed by law, because if at any stage they don't consult the INEC servers to see the saved copies, they wouldn't be able to tell if something went wrong in between. Most politicians are desperate. They can do the unthinkable. And remember that at any stage, whether it's ward level collation, local government and state level, party agents must sign the results. The question now is, did INEC chairman consult the IREV portal before authenticating the results? The answer is no. The INEC chairman on national TV refused to authenticate the results from states on the IREV. In fact, many party agents had to walk out in protest because he never consulted the IREV to verify the results. That's why results on IREV today differ completely with what INEC announced at the National Collation Center, Abuja. Does it make sense that INEC servers are supposed to keep copies of the results from polling units, but the results that INEC announced are different from these copies? In other words, evidence that the election was rigged are stored in the INEC servers, but they are still denying it. It's like a defendant coming to court with an evidence that will prove him guilty. Take for instance Rivers State. We all know that Labour Party won Rivers, but for the sake of the collation done by Premium Times, they collected the results on the IREV in Obiakpo local government area, where INEC allocated more than 80,000 votes to Tinubu and Peter Obi 3,829 votes. Look at what they got after they manually collected the results in Obiakpo local government area as uploaded on IREV. These results are not surprising in any way, because the strategy that Wike used, he waited for results from 21 local government areas in Rivers State to be announced, which Labour Party was leading comfortably anyway. They now fabricated the fake results from Obiakpo local government area, which made APC to leapfrog the Labour Party. This is the same strategy that PDP tried to use in Abia Guba election, but fortunately they were resisted. How about Bauchi local government area in Bauchi State? Someone took the time to collect the results from this local government area posted on the IREV. This is the result that INEC announced for Bauchi local government area. Compare that to the results on the IREV from 158 votes that INEC allocated to the Labour Party to 3,758 votes. They are even ahead of APC in this local government area. Had INEC obeyed their own guidelines, this kind of error shouldn't have happened. That's just assuming that it wasn't a deliberate error. But we all know that INEC, in collaboration with political parties, rigged the election for the highest bidder.
Imagine the English where they speak here. After all the whole voting, they can't upload. They are not going anywhere.
A typical example of how they manipulated, changed, and rigged the votes in favor of another party is the one done in this polling unit in Akpamaka Playground in Ohotra local government area in Ebonyi State. You can see the date. The election was held on the 25th February. You can see the votes Labour Party scored, 108 votes, APC 2 votes, and others. All party agents signed, even the presiding officer signed too, and this is the document that all parties have. Let's see what they uploaded on iRev. First of all, it was uploaded on the 1st March of 2023. That's several days after the election, and the result uploaded is quite different from the polling unit result. Labour Party's votes were reduced from 108 votes to 2 votes. Total votes now became 3 instead of 113. Maybe that's why Tinubu's legal team in one of their objections are saying that the Labour Party shouldn't rely on forensic experts, but INEC documents alone. Because only the APC and the INEC have the rigged copies, while the real copies are with other political parties and in some cases uploaded on iRev. It is very clear the intention of INEC. The reason they blocked the upload of the presidential election results to the iRev was to enable the changing and manipulation of the results. And this situation is exactly what the Electoral Act 2022 wanted to prevent by introducing electronic transmission of the results immediately the counting of votes are finished at the polling unit. 233! Labour! Now, where does the Labour Party go from here to prove their case? It is very easy to prove their case, and they don't even need to prove and scrutinize every result sheet. What they need to do is to establish a pattern and convince the judges. Although in this Ebonyi polling unit, the party agents recorded a video of the returning officer signing the result, as you can see here. Whether there are videos like these or not, if the legal team is able to establish the rigging pattern, that will be enough. This is an election matter and it's also civil. They do not need to prove it like in a capital offense. So when a judge sees this kind of evidence in many states, the legal team would have established a pattern and they will just calculate the legal votes based on what the parties submitted. The evidence can easily be corroborated by other political parties if they work together. Of course, they can also invite forensic analysts to add icing on the cake. If the legal team are able to establish a pattern, they will show cause and the reason the INEC chairman refused to wait for the uploads to be completed before he made the declaration. Because in this particular case where the results were uploaded after 4 days, let's even assume that they had a server connection problem that suspiciously affected only the presidential election results. Why didn't Mahmood Yakubu wait for all the results to come online so as to verify the authenticity of the results as stated in the INEC guidelines and the Electoral Act? Why didn't he just wait a few days before making his declaration so that whatever he will announce will at least be exactly what's on the iRev? Also, what happened in Adamawa supplementary election proves that there's no need to rush to declare a winner when you can wait and review the iRev and Beaver's information to know the true winner. If the INEC chairman was truly impartial during the presidential election, he should have apologized on national television for the connection problems to the server, which prevented the upload of presidential election results. Following the acceptance of their failure to follow the guidelines, he should have waited for results to come online immediately connection was restored before collation could commence at the ward level to local government, state, and the National Collation Center. But because he had an already predetermined result, he stubbornly went ahead with the illegality and accepted results without verification. So here we are, after more than 300 billion naira was spent to conduct an election, INEC will still spend a few billions to defend their own mistake. Why did Nigeria waste billions of naira on technology and beavers to improve elections but ended up not using it to conduct election? Thanks for watching.
Standing before you, I'm the Oladapo Asiolatunde.
Yes.
I am the presiding officer of this particular polling unit. The issue we had on the ground now is that we have uploaded results for Senate and House of Rep. The only where we have an issue now is for presidential result.
Give us the figure. Mention the figure.
For the presidential election. The total. Wait. The total. The total. You call it. Hello, sir. Hello, wait.
So guys, you've heard it for yourself. Honestly, this is a huge tussle. My joy is that Peter Obi's petition is going to help Nigeria in reforming, so many things when it comes to the election. I mean, the electoral process. The electoral process is going to experience so much transformation because so many issues have been brought up as a result of Peter Obi's petition in court. Honestly, this is a very good opportunity for Nigeria to look into their laws, especially around INEC as the electoral body, and they should ensure that a rapid transformation takes place so that in coming elections we won't be having all these challenges that we are having today. So guys, no doubt you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.